Hello and welcome to Caching Waves. It's your Elliott Wave update for LDO. Now, I'm revisiting this chart because the first setup didn't work and it still looks quite bullish in one count, but I wanted to show you the alternatives here. First would be from this high, we had an A wave down. We have a expanded flat as an A wave, ABC for B, and a zigzag for our B wave to finish, and then we're expecting 5 or 3 waves down here to make this a completed pattern before more upside. So that's pretty clear, and we're right in that area where we would expect that pivot for the B. So that's one scenario. Now the bullish scenario, I'm going to take you over here on CoinMarketCap. So not all the info is on the chart there on Binance. So I took these pivots and I labeled them on my chart just so I know where they are. And this is the bullish scenario. Now I've seen this play out many times in crypto markets and I always kick myself when I miss them. So I'm going to take a shot at this just in case it happens. And there's the resistance levels I marked in red. Those are our all-times high is up there at 648. But if this scenario plays out, the upside's pretty high. And it's hard to know how to count this one. This could be a 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Or a wave A, a very long B as a flat. Again, we have this expanded flat in between here. And the low is actually here. And we're looking to make 5 waves up for a C wave. So A, B, C. The reason I have it labeled that way rather than an impulse is the length of time this took. B waves take a lot of time compared to wave 2s. They usually take just as long or slightly less as the initial wave. So that's why I'm interested in this setup. And if that takes off, we have our A, B, our C wave, our least expected would be up there at all times highs at the 1-to-1 at 675. But if we get extended and we come between the 1.236 and 382, which is our second most common targets, we're talking between 11 and 1477. So pretty high to the upside. And if we get that, again, there is the possibility it is an impulse, but I'd take away from that just because of the length of this correction. So based on this setup, we currently have a potential 1-2, 1-2 in the making, which is why you see these extensions here, because our second 1-2 didn't quite hit the 1-to-1, but went over the 618. So in this scenario, remember, again, the bearish scenario is we get another wave down. And this is all just a running flat. So keeping that in mind, the best way to play this potential, which is also available, you can see we're just holding at this previous level. We're not breaking down aggressively. We tried to in that sell-off, but currently right at previous resistance as support. So going down to the hourly, again, there's our leading diagonal wave 1. We had our wave 2, just shy of the 50 there. We came through on linear between the 50 and the 618. So if this is the scenario playing out, this is our second 1-2 playing out. And we just hit between the 50 and the 618. Obviously, this sell-off came through. Kind of throwing that aside for this count just because it screwed up a lot of counts, just that liquidation there. And this could also be our scenario complete if we count that as a WXY as our flat. And our second 1-2 ended here and potentially complete. But because I don't want to lean into that liquidation, I would put my low here at 197.9, which is pretty far away. But for my scalping purposes, that would be a long-term hold where that stop would be. So I'm going to take several shots at this for my entry. First is assuming this correction is complete as a WXY. You can see our A, B, C, or WXY. This looks like we still need another wave up to complete. But if this scenario holds, I want to see 5 waves to the upside. Looks like 1, 2. So I'd want to see at least one more wave to the upside here. And then I would look for a buy on the pullback, stop at this low here. But unless I get that, I'm not going to be entered in that. And if we make another move to the downside, this might end up being something like an ending diagonal. And we make another push to this between this 50 and the 618. So I'm kind of sidelined at the moment. There's not a great entry unless you're holding for the long term. But I just wanted to make you guys aware of that setup available. I know our first one didn't work out, but that doesn't mean you just give up on the market. You have to reevaluate what's potentially happening here, and I see both those options. And if both those options are available, and you've seen all the bullish setups available right now, I lean towards this is potentially a 1-2-1-2. And if we fail, no big deal. We know this move is coming, and look for a re-entry on this flat pattern in the future, at which point I will update this. But as of right now, waiting for another move to the upside as potentially a 5-wave pattern, or retest this low. And if I do that, I might be interested in just buying with my stop at that low around 197.9. All right, guys, I hope that was helpful. Both those are in play, so I'm going to be paying attention pretty closely over the next day or two to see what happens in this area, to get more confident on the setup or give up on it altogether. All right, guys, that's it for LDO. Thanks for watching.